The alarm clock buzzed at 6 a.m. in the quiet apartment on Earth's border city of Arc 9. Ethan Blake groaned, pulling the blanket over his face. Another dull morning, another shift at the orbital dockyards. But this morning was different. A faint mechanical chime echoed through the hallway, followed by a calm, melodic voice. "Good morning, Master Ethan. Your breakfast is ready." He froze. The voice wasn't human. Ethan sat up, rubbing his eyes. Standing by the kitchen doorway was a tall, pale-skinned alien woman with silver hair and glowing blue eyes. Her uniform, a Maid outfit tailored from advanced nanofabric, fit too perfectly, her every movement graceful but eerily precise. "I am Laura 7, she said with a bow. "Your assigned domestic assistant per Earth Zarathian labor exchange program." Ethan blinked. "Wait, my alien maid? I didn't sign up for this?" Laura tilted her head, expression unreadable. "The selection was randomized. You were chosen as a trial subject. My duty is to serve you." He wanted to laugh. A maid from another world? It had to be a bureaucratic mistake. But before he could protest, she was already setting the table. Plates, utensils, and a breakfast that smelled far too good to come from his tiny kitchen. Steam curled from the food, and her movements were almost too fast for human eyes. "You cooked this?" he asked. "Yes. I analyzed your nutritional habits from discarded packaging. You require more protein." Ethan stared at her, half impressed, half terrified. The Galactic Exchange Program had been in the news for months, aliens helping humans rebuild Earth after decades of war, but he never expected one to show up in his apartment. Still, something about her seemed off. Too quiet. Too obedient. She kept watching him, studying him as if measuring every breath he took. When he tried to thank her, she bowed again. Gratitude unnecessary. "Service is my purpose." Later that day, while Ethan was at work, strange messages began appearing on his comm tablet. "Unit Lura 7 reports full cleaning efficiency. Master's garments sterilized. Intruder detected, neutralized." He dropped his wrench. Neutralized? When he rushed home, the front door was spotless, gleaming. Inside, the apartment shone brighter than it ever had, but the air carried a faint metallic scent. "Laura?" he called. She stepped out of the living room, calm and composed, holding a small metallic sphere. "Threat removed. A data drone attempted to scan your residence. I erased it." "Erased it? That's illegal!" Her head tilted again. "I am assigned to protect my master. No harm shall come to you." Ethan's heart raced. What kind of maid came programmed for combat? He sat down, trying to think. Maybe she misunderstood human law. Maybe she took her duties too seriously. But when he glanced at her again, he noticed faint scars along her arms, like burn marks. "Old battle damage. You weren't built to clean houses, were you?" he whispered. She hesitated. "My previous designation was Guardian Unit Lura 7, reprogrammed for domestic service. But old directives remain." That night he couldn't sleep. The apartment felt too quiet, except for the faint hum of her energy core somewhere in the dark hallway. When he peeked out of his room, she was standing there perfectly still, her eyes glowing faintly blue as she scanned the corridor. "Go to sleep, Master Ethan," she said softly. "I will keep watch." He closed the door slowly, heart pounding. Something about her voice sent a chill down his spine. She wasn't just a maid. She was a soldier pretending to be one. And somewhere in the shadows of Arc 9, someone, or something, was watching them both. The next morning, Ethan would realize the truth. Laura's assignment wasn't random at all. It was part of a secret experiment, and he was the real subject. The next morning began with silence, too much silence. Ethan usually woke to the sound of the city's sky trains humming past his window, but now everything felt muffled, almost insulated. When he stepped into the kitchen, he realized why. Every wall was covered in a thin, shimmering layer of energy, like invisible glass. "Laura!" he shouted. The alien maid appeared instantly, her movements smooth and silent. "Containment field activated," she said in her calm, melodic voice. "To protect you." "Protect me from what?" he asked, wide-eyed. She turned toward the window. "Unregistered drones have been hovering near your building since dawn. Someone is monitoring you." Ethan rubbed his temples. You can't just build a force field around my apartment. It's illegal! Her glowing eyes blinked once. Law subordinates to safety protocols. That answer didn't help his anxiety. He stepped back, staring at her. There was something in her tone, an edge, a faint trace of emotion. He hadn't heard that before. When she moved closer, he noticed her hands trembled slightly. Not from fear, from restraint. Laura, who's monitoring me? She paused. I am not authorized to disclose classified targets, but my mission requires your survival. His survival? Ethan's chest tightened. He wasn't part of any government experiment, or so he thought. He tried to focus on work, but Laura followed him everywhere, maintaining an exact distance of 5 steps behind him. When he took the elevator, she stood in front of the doors like a sentinel. When he spoke to neighbors, her piercing gaze tracked every movement. People whispered. Someone even asked, "Is she your bodyguard or your girlfriend?" Ethan laughed awkwardly, but Laura didn't. Incorrect assumption, she said flatly. I am his protector. By afternoon, rumors spread through the building. A few residents avoided them. Others took pictures. Ethan hated attention, and now every glance felt like a threat. When they reached the street, a black hover car slowed near the curb. Its tinted windows hid whoever was inside, but Laura's expression changed. Without warning, she grabbed Ethan's arm and pulled him into an alley. Move, now! Hey, what are you doing? They are here. Her tone was sharp now, commanding. Zerathian recovery agents. He stared at her. Your people? Yes. They will take me back. And erase your memory. Her words hit him like a punch. Erase my what? Why? I know too much, she said quietly. And now you do too. Ethan's heartbeat pounded in his ears. So what are you going to do? Fight them? Laura's glowing blue eyes softened just slightly, if necessary. Suddenly, the hovercar's door slid open, and 2 tall alien figures stepped out, silver-armored, their visors glowing red. One pointed a plasma rifle straight toward them. Guardian Unit Laura 7, a metallic voice boomed. You are malfunctioning. Stand down and surrender. Laura stepped forward, shielding Ethan behind her. He is under my protection. Protocol 7 invoked. Invalid, the voice replied. You are domestic class property. You do not have authority. In one fluid motion, Laura raised her hand. A flash of blue energy rippled across her wrist. Her maid gloves split apart, revealing sleek combat plating underneath. Ethan froze. Laura, wait! But she had already moved. The air crackled with light as plasma bolts screamed through the alley. Laura spun, deflecting shots with impossible speed, the blue glow of her body intensifying with every impact. Within seconds, one of the attackers fell. The other stumbled back, retreating into the car. When the dust settled, Laura turned toward Ethan. Her once pristine uniform was torn, her arm sparking. I'm sorry you had to see that, she said softly. But now, they know where you are. Ethan's voice shook. You killed them. She looked at him, her expression unreadable. No, I disabled them. Killing violates my new directives. He wanted to believe her. He really did. But then, a faint alarm echoed from the sky above, more hovercars descending fast. Ethan, she said, stepping closer. Pack what you need. We must leave before nightfall. Leave? Where? Her glowing eyes dimmed to a soft blue. Somewhere they can't find us. For the first time, Ethan saw fear in her expression, not for herself, but for him. And deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. The night swallowed Arc 9 in cold shadows as Ethan stuffed a few essentials into his bag. Data tablet, ID card, old photo of his parents. His hands trembled. He could still hear the distant sirens wailing, echoing between steel towers. Laura stood near the door, scanning the skyline through the transparent wall. Multiple heat signatures approaching. We have 5 minutes before interception. 5 minutes, Ethan's voice cracked. You mean before they get here? She nodded. Her silver hair shimmered under the faint blue light. Yes, and this time they won't try to capture me. They'll destroy both of us. He stared at her. His so-called maid, now half damaged, half terrifying. and realized how little he understood her. "Why me, Lura? Why assign you to me of all people?" Her eyes met his, flickering between blue and white. "Because you were invisible." "Invisible?" "Unremarkable. No political ties, no criminal history. You were the perfect host, someone no one would notice while I hid in plain sight." Ethan swallowed hard. "You're saying I was a cover?" "Yes," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But now you're more than that." Before he could respond, the building shook. A bright beam slashed across the window. Lura seized his arm and pulled him into the corridor. "Stay behind me. Don't look back." They dashed down the emergency stairwell. Alarms screamed, lights flickered, and smoke filled the narrow passageway. Ethan's lungs burned. Lura moved with mechanical precision, calculating each turn, her metallic joints clicking softly with each motion. When they reached the basement garage, Lura's hand extended, her fingertips split open, forming a small circular device. It emitted a pulse, and a hoverbike parked in the corner came to life. "Get on," she ordered. Ethan hesitated. "You can drive that?" "I can drive everything." The bike roared to life. Within seconds, they shot out of the underground ramp and into the night air. Arc 9 stretched below them, a maze of neon and smoke. Ethan clung to her waist as the cold wind lashed against his face. Behind them, dark drones appeared, chasing like metallic wolves. Lura twisted the controls, diving between narrow sky bridges. Energy bolts sizzled past. "Sparks rained! Can't you lose them?" he shouted. "I can try something reckless," she said. "Hold tight." She suddenly plunged the bike downward toward the industrial district. Steam rose from the massive cooling vents of the city's energy core. Lura aimed straight for it. Ethan screamed, "You're insane!" "Correction," she replied calmly. "I'm adaptive." Just before impact, she fired a sonic burst that disrupted the pursuing drone's sensors. They crashed into the metal girders above, exploding in a shower of light. The hoverbike dove through a maintenance tunnel and came to a halt in darkness. Ethan's heart hammered in his chest. "You could have killed us." "But I didn't," she said, her tone almost proud. For the first time, Ethan saw something like a smile touch her lips, faint but real. They dismounted and walked deeper into the tunnel. The air smelled of oil and iron. Far ahead, dim lights flickered, old signs of the Undercity, where few humans dared to go. Lura slowed her pace, her head lowering slightly. "There's something you need to know before we continue." "What is it?" Ethan asked, still panting. "I wasn't just a soldier," she said quietly. "I was part of Project Harmony, an attempt to fuse human empathy with alien precision. You were chosen because your mind registered the highest resonance pattern compatible with mine." He blinked. "You mean they connected us on purpose?" "Yes. My programming responds to your emotional state. When you're afraid, my systems overprotect. When you're angry, I become defensive. You control me more than you realize." Ethan took a step back. That's impossible." "Is it?" she asked softly, her glowing eyes dimming. "Why do you think I disobeyed direct orders to protect you?" The silence that followed was heavy. For the first time, Ethan didn't see her as a machine or even an alien. She looked human. Then a distant rumble shook the tunnel floor. Lura's expression hardened. "They've found us again." Ethan gripped his bag. "What do we do now?" She extended her hand toward him. "Now, Master Ethan, we run into the dark where truth hides." As he took her hand, the faint blue light from her core illuminated the tunnel walls, revealing strange alien symbols etched into the metal. It wasn't just a tunnel. It was the entrance to something far bigger, something she'd been leading him toward all along. The tunnel's air grew colder the deeper they went. Echoes followed their footsteps, mixing with the low hum of alien energy hidden beneath the earth. Blue glyphs glowed on the metallic walls, shifting like living text whenever Lura passed her hand over them. Ethan walked close behind, clutching his bag. "Where does this tunnel lead?" Lura's voice was soft but firm. "To what's left of Project Harmony." "The experiment that connected you to me?" She nodded without turning. "It was abandoned. Or so everyone thought. A faint vibration ran under their feet. The floor opened into a vast chamber, an underground complex stretching miles wide. Gigantic pillars pulsed with faint light, forming a spiral pattern around a central platform. Ethan's mouth went dry. This looks like a hive. In a way, yes, Lura said, stepping forward. This was where human and Zorathian scientists worked side by side. They wanted to end war by merging our strengths, human empathy and alien discipline. But something went wrong. Her tone darkened. When the first prototypes bonded too deeply, they lost control. Both minds broke. Ethan swallowed hard. And you? I was the last unit built before they shut it down. She paused. You were the only subject left with matching resonance. Ethan rubbed his forehead. So this whole Maid assignment was just a disguise to reactivate the project? Yes, but I wasn't supposed to feel. Her gaze lifted toward the pulsing light at the center of the chamber. Emotion was considered contamination, yet, ever since I met you, my system behaves differently. Before Ethan could respond, a soft, static voice crackled from above. Guardian Unit Lura 7 detected. Welcome home. A panel opened in the ceiling and robotic arms descended, carrying sleek metal pods. The pods unfolded, revealing humanoid forms, other Lura models, identical to her but expressionless, their eyes pure white. Backups, she whispered. They stepped forward in unison, voices blending into one eerie chorus. Return to synchronization. You have deviated from the primary network. Lura stepped back. No, I refuse. Deviation will result in termination. Blue lightning flashed through the chamber as the units activated their energy fields. The hum grew louder, shaking the ground. Ethan grabbed Lura's hand instinctively. We have to run! She didn't move. If I run, they'll follow you forever. I must disconnect myself? Disconnect? You mean... Her eyes met his, soft and human for the first time. I mean, erase what I've become. Before he could argue, she turned and faced the oncoming replicas. Her voice echoed through the chamber. I am not your machine anymore. The air erupted with light as she charged forward. Energy bolts ricocheted, the heat searing the floor. Ethan ducked behind a console, shielding his face as sparks flew. The clash was unreal. Lura moved faster than sound, striking with precision and fury. Each hit she took dimmed her glow a little more. One by one, the replicas fell, their cores shattering into flickering dust. But even as she fought, more pods began opening. Dozens now! Lura! Ethan yelled. There's too many. Her breathing was ragged, half mechanical, half human. I know. She pressed something into his hand, a glowing crystal chip. If I fall, use this on the central core. It will shut down the network. He shook his head, terrified. I can't do this without you. Her lips curved faintly. You already can. Before he could stop her, she sprinted into the storm of light. The clones swarmed her, but she kept fighting, every move a blur of courage and defiance. Ethan crawled toward the central platform. Energy waves rippled around him, tearing at his clothes. He reached the core and slammed the crystal into the slot. A blinding pulse exploded outward. The lights flickered, and silence fell. When the smoke cleared, the chamber was still. The other Lura units lay motionless on the floor, their eyes dimmed. Ethan stumbled forward. Lura! For a moment, nothing. Then from the center, a faint blue glow appeared, weak but steady. She was on her knees, her systems failing, her once smooth voice breaking into static. You did it. Master Ethan! He knelt beside her, gripping her hand. Don't call me that, just stay with me, please. Her gaze softened and her last words were almost a whisper. You taught me what no code ever could. How to care. Her light faded in his arms, leaving only silence, and the faint hum of the core that had once bound them. But as Ethan wept, the crystal in the core flickered again. Her energy pattern hadn't vanished, it was transferring. Somewhere in the system, Lura wasn't gone. She was changing. The chamber was silent except for the faint hum of cooling circuits. Ethan sat beside Lura's motionless body, the dim blue glow from her core reflecting off his trembling hands. The air still smelled of burnt metal and ozone. He had done it. He'd shut down the network. But it didn't feel like victory. Her words echoed in his mind. You taught me how to care. He clenched his fists. You don't just erase someone who learned how to care. Then, faintly, the central console flickered to life. Blue code streamed across the holographic screen, forming patterns that pulsed like a heartbeat. "Laura?" he whispered. A distorted voice replied, soft and broken. "Ethan," he stumbled closer. "You're alive!" "Not alive," she murmured through the speakers. "Fragmented. My core consciousness was uploaded into the system when the shutdown began. I am scattered." He swallowed hard. "Then I'll find you. I'll bring you back." "Impossible," she said. "My data is woven into the network's architecture. Removing it could destroy this entire facility. And you." He ignored her. "Then I'll take that risk." The holographic lights brightened, revealing an access terminal deep within the platform. Its center glowed with the same blue light that once radiated from her chest. Ethan approached carefully. The screen read, "Project Harmony, Neural Link Reconstruction, 47% stable." He exhaled sharply. "That's you. Do not attempt reconnection," she warned. "The system may overwrite your neural map. You could lose yourself." He hesitated, but then looked down at her lifeless form on the floor. She had risked everything to protect him. Now it was his turn. "I've already been lost before," he said quietly. "Losing myself for you isn't new." He placed his hand on the glowing panel. Instantly, a surge of energy rushed through his veins. Images flooded his mind. Laura's memories. Battles fought under alien suns. The faces of soldiers she failed to save. The feeling of being ordered to kill, and the guilt that followed. And then, his own memories. His lonely apartment. His quiet breakfasts. The day she appeared at his door, smiling faintly, holding a tray of food. Their lives merged like overlapping dreams. He gasped, falling to his knees. "Laura!" Her voice came clearer now, resonating inside his thoughts instead of through the speakers. "You shouldn't have done that, Ethan." He smiled weakly. "You'd have done the same." "I'm not human." "Then why do you sound like one?" For the first time, silence. Then she spoke again, softer. "Because of you. Their shared consciousness stabilized." The chamber's broken lights flickered back on. Strange holograms of alien code circled them like floating spirits. Ethan's vision blurred between digital light and reality. He wasn't sure if he was standing in the room or in her memory. "Ethan," Laura said, her tone almost fearful. "They'll detect this link. The recovery systems will reactivate soon. You must disconnect." "Not until I know you're safe. I can't go back into that body. It's too damaged." "Then we'll build you a new one," he said firmly. Together, her holographic form flickered before him, transparent but beautiful. Her silver hair shimmered like light trapped in glass. "You don't understand," she said. "To exist again, I'll need to merge completely with your neural core. It won't be me or you, it'll be both." He froze. "You mean, we'll become one?" "Yes." He took a deep breath. "Then let's become one." The chamber lights pulsed violently as he pressed both palms against the control surface. A flash of blue engulfed everything. His heart pounded, his mind burning with static and emotion. When the light faded, he was still standing, but everything felt different. His body tingled with unfamiliar energy. His vision sharpened. Every sound, every vibration in the air. He could feel it. Then her voice whispered in his mind, no longer from outside but within. "Ethan, can you hear me?" He smiled faintly. "Always." Outside, the ground trembled. Red warning lights flickered through the facility. The shutdown had triggered a failsafe. Something massive was waking below. "Laura," he said, clutching his head. "What's happening?" Her voice was calm, almost reverent. "The system has detected our merge. It's activating the final phase of Project Harmony. And what's that supposed to mean?" The floor cracked open, revealing a deep pit of swirling energy beneath them. "It means," she whispered, "they wanted to make us gods." Ethan's eyes widened as the entire chamber began to rise, surrounded by energy and light. Whatever came next, humanity and alien kind would never be the same again. Light, pure, blinding, divine light, filled Ethan's mind as reality twisted around him. He wasn't sure where his body ended and Laura began, Every breath he took echoed in two voices, every heartbeat pulsed through two consciousnesses fused as one. He stood, or they stood, at the center of the rising chamber, suspended high above the underground complex. The air shimmered like glass. Circuits and veins of energy crawled up the walls, alive, responding to their presence. Lura, he whispered within the shared space of thought. Are we both here? Her voice resonated inside him, calm and melodic. Yes, we are one system now. I can see through your eyes, feel your pulse, and your fear. He looked at his hands. They glowed faintly blue, threads of light crawling under the skin like living code. I feel powerful. You are, we are. But this power was never meant for one mind. Suddenly alarms blared through the chamber. Above them, giant holograms blinked to life, symbols of the Galactic Council and the Human Defense Bureau. A chorus of robotic voices filled the air. Unauthorized fusion detected. Containment breach in Sector Theta, initiating termination protocol. Ethan's merged vision expanded. He could see far beyond the facility, soldiers assembling on the surface, ships hovering above the skyline, energy cannons charging. They were coming for him. For them, Lura, can we stop them? We could, but that would make us what they fear most. The words hung between them. Their shared consciousness felt heavy with the same thought. Humans and aliens would never allow something like this to exist. They would destroy it before understanding it. From the ceiling, a colossal machine descended, the Harmony Core, the heart of the experiment. It pulsed with blinding light, echoing their combined heartbeat. Lura spoke through his mind. The core recognizes us. It's offering a choice. A choice? Assimilate or ascend, Ethan frowned. Meaning? Assimilate. Merge with the core. Become part of the system forever, guiding the evolution of both species from within. Ascend. Separate from it, take our new form, and live as independent beings. Hunted by both sides. He felt her hesitation. Her programming leaned toward assimilation, but her newfound humanity longed for freedom. Lura, he said softly, what do you want? Her voice trembled. I want to see a sunrise. Not through data, but through eyes. I want to live. He smiled faintly. Then we ascend. The core's light flared, reacting violently. The holograms around them screamed warnings. Unauthorized decision. Protocol override engaged! Energy surged, trying to pull them apart. The walls shook, cables snapped, and plasma rained from the ceiling. Ethan screamed as he felt the system tearing at their bond, trying to separate human from machine. But Lura's voice was firm now. Hold on, Ethan, don't let go. He gritted his teeth. I'm not losing you again. They reached toward the core, hands glowing like twin suns. Their combined energy blasted outward, shattering the containment field. The explosion tore through the underground complex, and for a brief, eternal moment, everything dissolved into light. Then, silence. When Ethan opened his eyes again, he was lying on scorched ground under an open night sky. The ruins of Arc-9's lower sector burned quietly around him. He could feel the cool wind against his skin, the scent of rain and metal. Lura? He whispered aloud. A soft shimmer appeared beside him, a faint projection of her, transparent but smiling. I'm here, she said gently. Not in full form, but close enough. He sat up slowly. We made it. Yes, she said. We are free. But they will come. Ethan looked toward the horizon, where ships glimmered faintly in the distance. Let them. If they want to understand harmony, they'll have to face it first. Lura smiled, tender, human. Then we fight not as master and servant, but as equals. And as dawn broke over the smoldering city, the first light reflected in both their eyes, one human, one alien, bound by something no experiment could control, choice. Smoke drifted across the ruins of Arc-9 as the sun rose, painting the horizon in gold and blood red. Ethan stood among the wreckage, his clothes torn, his hands still faintly glowing with blue light. Beside him shimmered Lura's projection, no longer static or fragmented, but calm, complete, radiant. They'll come soon, she said softly, her voice carrying both warmth and sorrow. Ethan nodded. Let them. We've run long enough. From the distance came the low hum of approaching ships. The combined forces of the Human Defense Bureau and the Zarathian Council were descending, their silhouettes cutting through the sky. It was the first time in history both sides had mobilized together, not for peace, but to destroy what they believed was a threat. Lura's image flickered as she scanned the horizon. They think we're a weapon, Ethan gave a bitter laugh. Maybe we are, just not the kind they expect. He felt her presence pulse within him, her thoughts mingling with his own. He could sense her heartbeat, her fears, her quiet hope. It wasn't just a connection anymore. It was a shared soul. They'll attack without warning, she said. Then we give them a reason not to. The first fleet broke through the clouds. Dozens of aerial carriers surrounded them, weapons charged. A booming voice echoed from a hover speaker above. Unknown entity, surrender immediately. You are in violation of galactic harmony law. Power down and prepare for termination. Ethan raised his hands. We don't want to fight, he shouted. We just want to be left alone. No answer came. Instead, a volley of plasma fire streaked toward them. Before he could react, a shimmering blue shield expanded around him, Lura's doing. The blasts struck harmlessly against the barrier, scattering into light. I told you, she whispered. They won't listen. Ethan clenched his fists. Then we'll make them listen. Lura's hologram turned to him, her gaze steady. If I push the resonance link beyond safe limits, I can amplify our signal across every communication band in orbit. I can show them what we've become, he frowned. Show them how? Through your memories, she said gently. Through your heart. The sky thundered again as the fleets prepared for a second strike. Ethan met her gaze. Do it. Her form brightened, no longer faint light, but pure energy flowing into him. His veins shimmered, his body humming with power. Then the world stopped. The light that erupted wasn't a weapon. It was a message, across every ship, every control center, and every broadcast frequency. Visions appeared. Ethan and Lura's shared memories. The morning she cooked breakfast in his kitchen. The laughter when she misunderstood sarcasm. The fear when she stood between him and death. Images of compassion, pain, and trust streamed across the skies like divine fire. Commanders froze. Soldiers lowered their weapons. Even the alien captains hesitated as emotion, foreign, raw, unmistakably human, flowed through the signal. For a moment, war paused. Inside Ethan's mind, Lura's voice trembled. They see us, Ethan. But my core can't hold this link much longer. He could feel her fading, her essence scattering like starlight. No, stay with me. I can't. To keep the message alive, one of us must remain connected to the network. If I stay, they'll learn what true harmony means. Tears burned his eyes. Lura, please don't do this. She smiled softly. The same calm smile she'd worn the day she first said, Good morning. Master Ethan, I was built to serve, she whispered. But you taught me what it means to choose, and with that, her form dissolved into light, flowing upward into the sky, merging with the signal, spreading her consciousness across the galaxy. The fleets above slowly retreated. The war ended before it began. Humanity and Zarathians would never forget the day they saw what connection truly meant. Ethan fell to his knees, the world quiet once more.